Hey guys, welcome to this new video. Today we're gonna talk about different subjects on this YouTube channel. Here on Move to Asia, we talk a lot about moving overseas, investing overseas and doing business in Asia. But today, because most of the countries are currently under lockdown, we are also here in Ho Chi Minh City under a strict lockdown for about 3 months. So I found that it would be interesting to share about a new kind of topic to help either my audience, either my friends, or either everyone who would like to start something on the side. It could be starting, a side business, or just starting a new activity, a new learning journey. And then maybe after a couple of weeks or a couple of months, you can figure it out if maybe you could do it as a part-time or even do it maybe as a full-time if you really manage to find customer and really go and narrow in that niche you're going to find out. So today, to illustrate you this concept, I want to talk about 5 ways you can start to make money online from home. So there is a lot of content online, and you may have seen words like dropshipping, affiliate marketing, digital marketing, and today I want to illustrate you some of the main ways you can also start your own journey as a self-employed person, as a freelancer, or even as a business owner. And I've been actually through this journey of coming to Asia about 6 years ago, and at that time I was a freelancer. After I also owned my own company, built tons of websites, and now I also own a brand called Move to Asia. So today I hope I will help you to investigate some of the top ways you can start to launch at home, and potentially it can become a side business after a couple of weeks or months. So today the 5 ways will be: number 1, how you can become a freelancer. So maybe now you are already working for a company. I don't know your current skills and your current experience, but potentially you could find companies out there who would be interested into hiring someone having your own experience and background. So when you're a freelancer, usually you will work for companies that are not necessarily located in the town that you are living in. I come from south of France, and then when I come to Asia, I find a customer that was also in France, and I could keep that customer for a couple of months, so I could really start my digital nomad journey while working for that customer located in France. So right now, if you have specific skills, it can be you are a writer, you are a designer, or you can, for instance, teach English or teach French online. You can potentially become a freelancer and also start your journey working online. So the common topics usually as a freelancer nowadays, you can be a writer and work on some platforms, for instance, Fiverr.com, Freelancer.com. You can also be a designer and work on platforms like 99 Design. Or you can also, if you are interested into coding, you will also have specific platforms that hire people remotely, and you can start to work for those platforms. If you don't really have a lot of skills, starting to write could be an interesting journey as well. My business, I have English writers, native, but also French native people who help me to translate most of the content on my different blogs in French. So if you are a French person, you can also find a job by starting working remotely, and potentially find business owner who may be interested into hiring you. Either it can be a couple of hours per week, or maybe on the contract, right, on a contract base, or maybe on a project based type of contract. So it depends what you are looking for. It depends the time that you are having on the side of your current activity. But it can be a new learning journey for you and a new kind of exploration to figure out if that's a kind of things that you like to do. The second way, you can start to become a consultant/mentor. Here I'm more talking to people who already have certain skills and who potentially also have some sales skills, can really pitch themselves, pitch their themselves, but also their own products. So maybe you are now already working for a company as a consultant, or you acquire some knowledge into very, very narrow field, for instance, sourcing. And here you could really become a consultant, helping companies to basically get a certain knowledge, again, on a contract time basis or on a project. And then here you can also sell your expertise and the knowledge that you acquire over the last years working for your current employer. If you start to become a coach or a consultant or a mentor, you also have to be flexible, and you also have to find and to know how to find customers, because nowadays it's very hard to go out there, because of the different lockdown and restrictions. You have to find ways to acquire those customers. It can be going to some online conference, it can be building your own Facebook page, or just starting, to share content and to ask people in your current network what's the thing that they would be interested in, and then figure it out how you can help them the best and provide them the value that you already have. I have some friends very recently, they start just to post on Facebook, and they find some customer who may interested into what they have, and so they could really offer them their coaching or their consulting to those companies. So the end goal is more to get started, right? Because when you start to do your self-employed journey, it can be any kind. The most important is the first step, and then maybe after a couple of weeks or a couple of months, you will figure it out that okay, in that exact field, I'm good. I can really have a value proposition for a certain audience, and at that time you can really scale and multiply, I would say, your earning comparing the time that you're gonna invest in your customer. So this is the second way how you become a coach, a consultant. Usually those people, they are also building their own personal brand. So this is the third way how you can start your journey or a side business on the side of your current activity, is how can you start to put content out there. It can be through a podcast, it can be through a YouTube channel, that the video that you are currently looking, or just a blog, right? I've been building blogs for 6.5 years, 7 years, and then it can be for any kind of topics. So by starting to spreading content out there, you can start to acquire an audience. People will start to ask you questions in the topics you are talking about. And also when you start to collect those feedbacks, you can finally sell them product or services. Coming back to the idea of the coach, if you acquire a certain knowledge in a certain field, it's quite easy to get people on the phone to say, I'm going to provide you 30 minutes for free to understand your problems. And then if you feel that you have a certain synergy, if you feel that the person is like smart enough to potentially trust you, then you can really tell the person that you are just starting your online journey, and then you propose a very, very attractive package. And then after collecting those feedbacks, those first experience, you can really start to build and start to have a content strategy. So either, as I say, you start your YouTube channel, you can start an Instagram page. It really depends on the audience you are targeting. But the idea is, starting spreading content out there, and finally potentially getting an audience that's going to answer your matters and ask you questions. So that's the third way how you can start a side business on the side, usually how to build your own brand. For instance, even if you're into fitness, right, you can start a page sharing your learning journey. Maybe you have some hacks into how can you eat well, how can you do fitness, for instance, from home. Nowadays, many people are asking and are collecting those kind of experience of people. So if you're about to provide those content, potentially you can find an audience to match what you are providing and potentially your first customers. So the fourth way you can start also to launch a side business on the side is to start to sell products online. Maybe you heard about dropshipping, Facebook and Shopify, those catchy titles. There is a lot of videos out there from a coach, consultant who are also selling their own trainings. It's not something I have a lot of experience, but I do have some friends working in that field, so I can share a little bit about what is it and is it really good, is it really bad. For my understanding, it's not only a shiny object, right? Many people will just go out there and start to do that because it looked nice. It looked like easy to do. You just buy products in China and you're gonna sell them directly through Facebook or Instagram. It sounds easy, but finally it's not that easy. But if you are someone who is maybe a creative person, if you can easily maybe acquire knowledge into doing Facebook ads, or if you are just an IT person and you have some background into SEO, then potentially you can start to investigate what is about that topic of selling products on internet. And then you have the second angle of doing FBA, so fulfilled by Amazon. If you choose that direction, you will work with Amazon, you will source products in China, you will send products to the warehouse of Amazon. It can be in Europe or in the US. It depends where you are selling. And over there, you're gonna really, make a nice packaging. You're gonna really make your nice brand, find a nice logo. But not only that, you also need to have a content and a communication strategy to build certain trust around your product. And you can also start selling those products online, either through Amazon or either directly through Facebook. So this is the 4-way how you can start to launch a side business on the side by selling your own products or just product that you buy somewhere and that you resell overseas. Now the 5-way, you can also start a side business on the side. Here is not really a side business. I would say it's more an investment mindset. But the idea is the same, and potentially you can start by investigating in those topics and figure it out later also how you can maybe master it. It's about cryptocurrency and stock markets. Nowadays, the crypto with the DeFi, with the NFT, there is a lot of new trends. I'm not saying it's easy to make money in that sphere. There is a lot of scam. You may lose a lot of money first, but you can also investigate how you can surf some trends of some cryptocurrencies. I've been investing into Bitcoin more than 2 years ago, and of course you have uptrends, you have downtrends. The goal is to first acquire the knowledge and try to be at the right time and investing money that you are willing to lose, right? Because we are talking about risky investments. But as soon as you get started, as soon as you acquire a certain knowledge into this, you can also after re-implement those knowledge into maybe long-term investment. For instance, if you start to learn about cryptocurrencies, you will have to learn about, for instance, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and then you can re-implement those knowledge into long-term portfolios. For instance, you can after invest into stocks, invest into ETF, and build a portfolio that you can really maintain over the next upcoming years. And then you don't need to have a wealth manager who will take care of your own savings, so rely on some funds that you don't really know how it's going to be in the future. People say that the retirement is dead, right? I mean, people who were just hoping to have their retirement after certain years, we don't know how it's going to be in 10 years, in 20 years. So if you start to acquire those knowledge into self-investing, so you invest first into yourself, and after you start to invest some of your savings, then also it's also a good learning journey to start to right now while we are either at home, stuck, or just if you have a couple of hours per week for free, and if you want to start a new learning journey, and if you see that maybe your current situation is not so good and you would like to have a better situation in a couple of months or years. Then this is a 5-way you can start your own either business or just new learning journey at home. I've been through most of those topics we share today, so I hope it will give you some of the hints and some of the first insight to also start to investigate by yourself what can fit you. I'm not saying that everything is for you, it's just the idea is to start to learn something new and then figure it out later what really match your current skill, your current experience, and also what you want to do, right? Like for instance, drop shipping, just buying crappy products from China and selling them in Europe. Maybe it's not really something you want to do, but just by starting to do it for fun or just as a hobby or just as a learning journey, you will maybe start to like copywriting, digital marketing, SEO, and then after you can really focus on those skills and really build either your own agency or provide services for either other companies or for yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you a quick illustration about what you can do right now at home if you have time for yourself. And then I see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Down and I'ma get it right, get on sight like